Hi, Bobby. Thank you so much for joining us on Black Ink Cinema podcast.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
You and I met while I was working at BT Sport, but I was very familiar with your story and the work you do in the community. For those people who are unfamiliar, do you want to just fill them in as much as you can? Because it's quite a lot.
Okay, sure. Well, I started a semi-professional. Well, it wasn't semi-professional at the time, but I started a amateur football club in 2015. We are now a semi-professional football club with 18 teams for men, women, boys, and girls. And the whole point of starting the football club was to give youth a sense of direction and opportunities away from the road and street life that I got caught up in. So I spent 8 years in prison from 2007 to 15, and messed up my sort of, I would say, early parts of my life. Really, I spent most of my 20s in jail. That's when you're sort of transitioning from a teenager to a man and sort of making steps for yourself in life. And I sort of messed that up. So I thought, you know what, by me coming out of prison, I was 28 at the time. I said, you know what, I'm going to try and do something to give back to the community and also help support myself and my family too. So we started a football club, and it's not like any other football club. Anyone can just go and start a team. But with us, there's a whole ethos of actually providing opportunities away from football, be it through music, be it through drama, be it through jobs, opportunities, education, whatever it is that we can try to help the young people do, we try to do basically.
And which I absolutely love. And I've been a fan of your work in the community and everything else that you've been doing. You seem to have your hands in different pies. You've got the football, the media, you're an author. And I stumbled across Bob's Entaba. I was unaware. Do you know how much I love Entaba? Like, I randomly have cravings for it. For those people who are unfamiliar, it's like grilled meat and it's so delicious, but it's the Congolese way. We have our way. We have machomo. And then you have.
Where's your background? Sorry.
Ugandan.
1G.
I love that. So I will be putting in an order. What made you start that?
You know what? Everyone's onto me. I've been so afraid to go and check the Bob's Entaba DMs because I've not checked them for at least.
You're lucky I just discovered it, because I would have been like, yo, where is my?
I've not done it for like 3 months. It kind of just really took off at one point. It was just overwhelming. I must have put a picture up of Taba during the lockdown, and like, oh, they got us in lockdown. I can't go to my mom's to go and get Taba because she makes it. And people, Congolese people in the comments were like, oh yes, I would love some of that. And then other people like, what is it? What is it? I said, basically, do people want some? Everyone's like, yes. So I said, all right, literally, I told my mom, look, make 60 boxes. She made them and we sold out. And for like the first 3 or 4 months of lockdown, kind of crazy. But after football season returned, that's my bread and butter. So I was like, you know, let me take a step back. But so much people still ask me, when are you going to bring it back? But we'll see.
I will put in an order first when you do bring it back. Let me know, because I absolutely love it. Are you going to be doing any more writing?
Yes and no. So I read the 2 books when I was in prison. And everyone used to tell me all the time, this should become drama, you should make it into a drama. And I just didn't have capacity and time. Funnily enough, I can't talk about certain things, but the rights of my story have been bought by the organization, and they're actually in the process of writing a story of a fictional character who came out of prison and started their own football club. I wonder who that is. But yeah, with the writing, I loved it while I was in prison. It kept me focused. It kept me, but because I'm so busy, it's like, when am I gonna have time to write? Literally, I've lost all the files that I had, because the books are both available on Kindle. Wow. They're available just as ebooks, but I want to make them into actual hardbacks and hard copies, basically. So I need to commission someone who have the time to retype it all. I don't have the files anymore. So so if I do that, I'm gonna try and relaunch the first 2 books as hard copies, and then see how that does, and maybe do the 3rd one.
Oh, definitely, you should. I think your story is very impressive. If you haven't, get to know.
I appreciate it.
So for those of you who'd like to follow you, do you want to share your socials?
Yeah, sure. You can follow me on Bobby Kasanga 20 on Instagram, and then we've got the Hackney Wick Football Club, which is the semi-professional team. So that's Hackney Wick FC. And my sort of blog page, meme page, Big Ego Media, also on Instagram.
Awesome. Black Ink Cinema is all about celebrating Black cinema, and you chose a film I recently just screened, the new Candyman, which I was really excited to watch this because I'm a huge, massive fan of the original. The new one stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen, directed by Nia Dacosta and produced by the legend himself, Jordan Peele. Before we get into the new one, let's talk about the urban legend of the original one.
Yeah.
Which I think in the Black community just holds so much weight. Why do you think that is?
I know we want to talk about the old one, but just quickly, because on the new one, I kind of understood it a bit more, what his story kind of was.
Oh, okay.
So in the old one, I was just scared. I remember watching it as a kid. I was maybe 8 or 9 years old, I can't remember. And then I was afraid to go say Candyman by myself or in the window or in the mirror. I never actually ever done that. Even to this day, like, nope. I'm not doing that.
Big of age, I'm not doing it. I'll get to you, and that's by accident. That's not intentional.
Yeah, so I mean, even now I'm watching how many times I say it to be fair. But yeah, it was just a scary being, wasn't he? Like full of bees, and I didn't quite remember what the whole storyline was until we watched part 2. But yeah, he was a when you talk about sort of scary characters from back in the day, you mentioned Freddy, you mentioned Mike Myers, and Candyman has to be mentioned too. So he was a frightening character.
This is obviously, the new one's obviously a sequel to the old one, and I think the reason why maybe it holds so much weight with us is because, like you, I watched it when I was too young. I don't know, I had no business watching that, definitely not in the cinemas. It came out in 92, and I think I probably watched it in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And like yourself, me, my brothers, my sisters, we could never say it. My brother was probably a bit more braver than the rest of us. He's still alive, so, you know. But, you know, for those of you who don't know, if you say his name 5 times in a mirror or a reflection, he'll come and kill you with his hook. So fun times all round. Without comparing them too much, how did you think the second one fared to the first one?
I think it was just as scary, and I'm watching it as an older person, still feeling quite scared at it. But this time they've kind of made him into a bit of a hero. He's a bit of a hero that because especially what's going on in terms of the world, especially in America, and so the racial tensions, it's kind of like, you know, he's doing wrong, but he's actually there for a cause. A bit like, if I was to compare it to anything, this is a bit far-fetched, I'm saying, but a bit like the evil Black Panther. You know he's scary. You know, I mean, even look at the original story of the person it was. He was just a kid, just a man that's gave out candy in the area, and then he was accused of something that he didn't do. Yeah. And then it sort of resonates with a lot of sort of things that's been going on in history, where a lot of young Black people were lynched and so on. So we've seen what's been happening so far again with the whole George Floyd. So it really resonated with me a lot. And then as much as the character himself scared you, towards the end, you kind of realize why he was there and what he was needed for, basically.
Yeah, I think they do touch upon that in the new one, and they use shadows, Nia Dacosta uses shadows to tell the story of the myth of Candyman. I did like that aspect of it, of trying to link in with everything that's going on, the social aspects, but I just felt it was a little bit too preachy.
Okay.
The first one was like, they did touch up on gentrification, the projects, being wrongly accused, and actually you do sympathize with this villain, even though he's going around killing people. You kind of understand his story, so they do kind of carry that across. But I felt like this one, I wasn't scared at all, like, which is weird for me because I'm a big I get scared easily, but the first one till this day has me shook. I don't know, Tony Todd did such an amazing job with his voice, the outfit, his character, that one hand, that I think they kind of missed the mark there a little bit.
But do you think because you're seeing it in the eyes of an adult now, and as a kid you would be naturally more scared? Because when you hear it, as my partner's gone out, it's only me and my young daughter here now, and it's not a thing that where you'll fear, you have that sort of fear. But had they left me at home by myself as a 9 or 10-year-old, I'll be petrified. So I don't know, maybe it's because you're a bit older, but yeah, I still find it was quite eerie at times.
I don't know, maybe it's because, and then they tried to add a bit of the comedy aspect, which took away from it being like a chilling slasher movie, which we never had. We never had a black person one survive that long
Yeah.
in a horror film, let alone be the villain and last that long as well. So I think that's one of the reasons why it will always be one of my favorite slasher movies. I'm really excited for the second one because I was like, yes, finally.
I mean, they could put it to rest now. For example, I don't think there should be a Candyman 3 per se.
See, I feel like the way it ended, this felt like a prequel. This felt like this should have been the first one, and then the original should have been the second, and then they were leading up to a third one, which would have just rounded everything off. Because I felt like it started going up again in the last 10-15 minutes of the film, and I was like, where was this energy throughout? I needed this.
I mean, I think I enjoyed it more because, I know you said it's a bit preachy, but I enjoyed it more because of the political statements I was making inside of the film. So it wasn't so much of, okay, we're going to watch a scary movie. It was more, I'm going to watch a scary movie that has nostalgia with me as a young person. But also while I was there, I was quite pleasantly surprised that it wasn't just about that, it was actually touching a real subject. So I guess that's why it kind of resonated with me.
Do you think you resonated with it more because the main character, the protagonist, was the black man and he was telling the story, rather than in the first one, the main character is the white lady Helen?
Yeah, I guess we can say that because it's from the point of view of ourselves, basically, isn't it? And then it's not sort of thing that there's a black man going around trying to kill a white woman like it was in the first one, sort of thing. My memory serves me right. So this one, you can actually see how we're sort of demonized, how we're sort of looked upon, and then therefore we see it every single time. I mean, last year during the pandemic, while I was delivering Bob's Tabba, I got stopped 6 times in my car, and every time they had a new reason. One was you ain't got insurance. I had insurance. Another was your car's not registered. Your car's registered in Darlington. And I'm like, it's not. But even if it was registered in Darlington, what's the issue? Why do I need to be stopped? People from Darlington never travel to London. So that's why I guess it resonated with me, because you see the tactics that the police use a lot, and of course, no one's saying we need a Candyman to go out there and have sort of revenge, but we do need people to stand up for us, stand up for our culture, stand up for our people. So you know what? We don't believe in what you're doing is right, and can we have some sort of form, some reform, some change?
Yeah, and Jordan Peele is infamous for putting in a reason why he's making a film, a political statement, also trying to educate people. And that's one of the things I absolutely love about him. And I'm always looking forward to his movies because it is tough. And to be fair, before that, there wasn't that many people doing it. And I feel like maybe the last couple of years, everyone's like, oh, maybe there is some injustice going on in the world, just a little bit. And we should highlight it. The main characters, the black characters, are bougie. They have good jobs. They don't live in the projects. Do you feel that helps tell the story of it doesn't matter where you're from?
Because I think a lot of times when we watch sort of black films, it's always the gangster and I came from the hood, it was hard. And of course he was raised in the hood, but he grew up, they seem quite affluent in the film. So it's telling the story of the middle class black families, which is never quite told in cinema. Normally it's always about the struggle. Normally it's always about a single parent household, the mother struggling, the child goes out in the streets, the father's in prison. So it was a bit refreshing to see something like that. And of course, sister, she had a gay brother. So I guess it's them trying to sort of kind of normalize that a bit to say, you know what, these things actually do happen, and we shouldn't have sort of stigma around that as well.
Yeah, I was literally just about to go on to that because I felt like they tried to bring in a bit more humor in this one as well. And those two characters, him and his partner, were the ones to bring that and kind of like lighten up the situation and the environment that they were in. Did you think that he played that character well? Because I remember him from Misfits.
I need to sit down and start watching more films and TV shows and series. And we're trying to do that at the moment. So at the moment, we just got into Clickbait. Don't know if you've been seeing that. So
I haven't yet.
So no spoilers for you. But so it's a thing that we're trying to make extra effort to actually start watching things, because I always hear people talking about different things. And then it's like, I just been so busy with the football club and with the music and with the drama. And so it's quite refreshing just going to the cinema the other day. So even you telling me now that, yeah, he was a misfit. Now you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, but it's something I kind of should have known. No, I mean, he played the character convincingly enough.
There was some real gruesome scenes in this one, I felt, in comparison to the first one. I felt like there was more of a build-up. Did you have any favourite scenes of your best, like, deaths?
Best deaths. First death was at the art gallery. I believe that was the first death. I mean, even the way that had happened, it was almost kind of like, wait, is this actually really happening? As he actually really turned. So I wasn't quite sure if it was a ghost or a real man at the time of doing the killings, if that makes sense or not. Because when I realized, oh, wait, in the reflections, you can see there's no one there. They're just flinging around and someone's actually doing the killing. So it was pretty gruesome. I didn't think it would be that gruesome, to be fair. I guess the kids in the toilet is quite unfortunate, but then again, bullies. You guys want to be bullies? There's the sort of things that I guess that can happen. I wouldn't say I have a favorite killing, but I mean, yeah. If you was to pick a favorite killing, which was the police officer who tried to frame the woman at the end and say, you know what, these are sort of tactics that the police will use and try to get you to admit to something that didn't clearly happen, so they can get off. So, not that I'm ever in favor of any killings, but
no.
Like, you know what?
Just in the context of Candyman.
Maybe he deserved it, yeah.
Yeah. And going back to the mythology of Candyman, I think what made it frightening for me in the first one was like no one was safe. So whether you and I or anybody said his name, you were going to get killed and he was going to turn up and slash you to death. Whereas I felt like they changed his character for the sequel and it was like no black person was murdered. And it was a little bit racist because it was like only white people. And I know Jordan Peele plays around with like race and stuff through his films, but I felt like by doing that, it took away the fear factor personally for me, because I was like, then I'm not that scared of saying, I'm sure I've said it 5 times now, if I don't make it tomorrow, you lot know what happened.
Oh, then you missed the party. You missed the party next month.
No!
Don't say it for the party.
I won't. I'm all ready for it.
I mean, yeah, you're definitely right, because I only realised that after the toilet incident. I thought, okay, he's killed a few people. Then after, I'm like, okay, all of them are in the bathroom. Why is the black girl not being killed and she's just safe watching what everything's happened? Then I realised, okay, it's a thing that way he's kind of meant to be the hero for black people to sort of avenge. And yeah, you're right. In that essence, I even told my missus, because she was a little bit scared at the time. And look, it's all right. He's not killing any black people. We're safe. We've got the pass. But yeah, so
the one time.
Yeah, I guess in that essence, it's like you're right. Normally in every film, the black person is dead within the first 25 minutes or so. Right. There it happens. So I guess he done it intentionally, just to maybe it was him jokingly doing that, saying, look, let's have a film where actually no black people get killed and it's the white people that get killed. So maybe he done that intentionally to make a powerful impact on it. But you're right, it takes away the fear factor a little bit.
I think the reason why you liked it, and I agree with you, is that they did modify the character and the storyline to kind of fit with our generation, with what's going on, in comparison to the first one. Of course, it would have been a bit lame if they just continued the same way, but I did, and I really liked him, and I really love the actor as well. Like, I love Yahya, and I just wanted the last 15 minutes to be the full film, if that makes sense.
I mean, what would you change about it?
I'll speed up at least about 45 minutes of it.
Okay, yeah.
Coleman Domingo, I think is his name, the guy who was like narrating and was telling the story. He's brilliant as well, and I felt like they didn't utilize him as much as they should have, because he's a brilliant actor. He's got a really cool...
Was he the one in the laundrette?
Yeah, good actor, and I just felt like, oh, we could have used him a little bit more. Because
I mean, that part came as a bit of a shock to me. Like, wait a minute, hang on, is he the bad guy? What's going on?
Yeah.
He kind of tells a story of why he needs there to be a Candyman, but yeah, that came out of the blue for me somehow, but yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, Tony Todd did such a good job in the first one that he got typecast and found it difficult to get other jobs, because people are like, no, you're that scary guy with a hook. I
mean, he made an appearance right at the end, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And I guess that kind of happens when you're sort of cast as a certain sort of character and it sort of sticks with you. But I guess if you're an actor, you should be able to sort of change it up and maybe apply for kind of different roles. But then again, we know how difficult it's been, how difficult it was even to be a black actor in those days. And so maybe because he was typecast for so long, it became a bit too late for him. But you never know, there might be people watching that. So you know what, actually, let's bring him back on the fold. So yeah.
So earlier you were talking about the themes that they talk about in the film, like the projects and the social aspects, racial equality, police brutality. Do you feel like they could have explored that angle a bit more? Or do you feel like it was just enough?
I think it was enough because you don't want to, like I say, you don't want to overplay it where you take away from the film of it being a horror movie and it's more, it becomes a bit more, as you said earlier, preachy. I think they've done enough for me to say, you know what, I can see the political statement they're making about gentrification, about changes in the neighbourhood, about inequalities, police brutality, and so on. But at the same time, making it enjoyable enough that you feel, oh, okay, oh, what's happening? What's going to happen now? Who's going to say this, that? But you're right, as you said earlier, not having any black people killed sort of takes away from it. I didn't quite think of it earlier on, but as you sort of said, that kind of reinforces it. It takes away the fear factor, and they could have dwelled into that a bit more, the horror side of it a bit more. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. And would I want a Candyman 3?
That's the $1 million
Possibly, just because it is Candyman and he's a black character. Yeah. But where'd you go from now, really?
I did love the fact that they did incorporate a lot of the themes from the first one. So they brought back the mother, who played the real actress who played Anthony's mother, Vanessa Williams, and I thought that was brilliant. Instead of just doing a reboot, because there was nothing more I would hate than just a remake of the classic. Just leave it. I can still watch the original.
Yeah, and I think that's the key aspect of it, because like at the beginning I'm like, okay, Candyman 2, okay, let's see. And then as I've not watched the last one for maybe 25 years, the last time I watched the last one. So, but it just started ringing bells when they started talking about certain things, especially when they started telling the story. I was like, oh yes, that person, yes, that was a. So then but yeah, you're right. Because sometimes films just do a whole new reboot, and you're like, yeah. And I mean, I'm seeing that they're making a new Fresh Prince. So I'm not sure, is that meant to be a comedy or is that meant to be drama? If it's a drama, I'm all for it. But if it's a comedy, I'm not sure. But yeah, you're right. When it's something's a sequel, it's like a continuation of a story, and it makes it better than just doing a whole new reboot.
Please don't do a reboot of the Fresh Prince. We can still watch the old one. I'm begging whoever is in charge of that to not do it.
I mean, Will Smith is in charge of it.
Will, no! No, Will!
he announced the person's going to play him. So I'm not sure how it's going to work, but let's see.
It's funny because I saw someone who did like a song, and it was like a serious parody, should I say, and I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool if they're kind of coming at it from that angle, like you said. But if it's like a comedy, exactly the same format, then 100% no.
And that's the thing. I know we're kind of going slightly off subject of Candyman, but I mean, I've seen a couple recently. I know I've seen Jamie Foxx has got one, and someone else got one. It's like there's no more black comedies of back in the day or sitcoms. Like there's no more like even in terms of British ones as well. You don't really see no one's making sitcoms anymore.
No one's making sitcoms, and also I think I can't remember who I was speaking to about this, but I felt like in the 90s we had so much of that, like a variation here, run over there. I say so much, enough, okay? And then I felt like it started kind of dying down, and now we just don't have it at all. And if we do, it will come for like one season and then it's cancelled. And then
do you just think that we've moved on from that, or there is someone you need to make something that's going to be so banging that we're going to say, yeah, where's season 2?
No, I think it's about us becoming the creators. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And not waiting for other people to help us or do the creating, because they'll just keep pushing out the same dead narratives, and it will only happen until we're in that position. That's why the Michaelas and the Isas and all these, the Jordan Peeles that are creating stuff, I'm like, this is helping push us forward.
I mean, what's your own angle in terms of what you're doing at the moment? I mean, this is brilliant, sort of highlighting black sort of films and that. But in regards to yourself, what's your day to day?
Oh, look at you flipping the interview on me.
It's the interviewer in me.
So I work in telly with Adam as well, who works in telly, and I'm a production manager. So I do the logistic side of things. And I actually got into media because one, I'm obsessed with films, obsessed with media. And then once I was in it, I realized it's quite difficult, but also that I need to stay in it because a lot of my peers at this point have left because it's quite racist, if we're going to call it a spade. And there's certain conversations and experiences that I know I've had, people that I know I've had, and they're just like, I'm just changing careers altogether. So I'm staying in it to keep the door open for my niece or nephew, or just someone who needs some guidance to come through, because I never had that as well. I never really had someone to be like, this is how it is. So
yeah, funnily enough, one of my partner's friend, she used to be at Channel 4. She left to go and work at Netflix now, but she used to run her own sort of cinema kind of show. It's called Scene TV. But she said after, like, I think a couple of years ago, she said, I just quit, I don't do it anymore. So it kind of resonates what you're saying right now in terms of they just feel like there's so much blockage, I guess.
So much. And you don't know it. It's hard. It's not like American racism. British racism is a lot different. It's very clever and very under the radar, and you just got to catch it. And so that's why the birth of, Black Ink Cinema, it was more of like celebration and just not waiting for someone else to kind of celebrate.
How many films have you guys done?
We've screened about 8, considering the bloody pandemic came and disturbed people's lives. But we screened 8 so far. 2 new releases and the rest of them old school classics. And then obviously we started the podcast during the pandemic as well. Going back to Candyman, did you have a best and worst scene?
I think probably the best scene is when they got the hole inside of the laundrette, and he sort of throw the sweets out. So that was a really good scene that I liked. The worst scene, I mean, it kept on reoccurring. Every time you had that itchy hand, just made you feel like,
it did. I don't. I'm just even itching now. I can't.
Yeah. I mean, why didn't you just go to the hospital? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, why are you just there and you're at the dinner table scratching yourself? So yeah,
I do feel that that's Black people for you though. It's fine. It'll go away.
Yeah, we don't like to do anything until right at the minute you got like a big mole coming out the side of your head.
He's like, I need to go to the hospital now.
You know what was also a funny scene, and it was very, I guess, a Black moment, was I think the wife, she was meant to go somewhere and she saw that it was dark and she went nope and closed the door.
That literally summed up the Black experience. So I felt like if they were going to do that we didn't get killed, was more of the sense of like, we don't say his name 5 times because we know better. We don't go down dark alleyways. We just avoid things that look a bit suspect. Do you know what I mean? So I think if they were going to do that, then that would have been more funny and been more accurate, because it's like, no, we're not testing. Even if we think it's rubbish, we're not going to do it. But,
no, definitely. Yeah, that was a funny moment, to be fair.
And it's funny because I don't know if that was reference to his new film that's coming out in 2022. He's got a film, which is like the blackest line ever. So we've now got to the quick fire round, where I just ask you a few questions and you just give me your answers. We'll start off with an easy one. Your favorite Black character in a horror movie? Now there's not that many of us, so it should be easy-ish.
I guess it would be Candyman, wouldn't it?
What about your favorite Black villain?
Oh, favorite Black villain. Denzel Washington in Training Day.
That's a good one. I would actually say Candyman. He was my favorite, just because I'm still scared as a grown woman. Your favorite Black comedian?
I like to say Chris Rock.
Can I ask why?
I just always found him funny. It was his voice as well. How he just sort of went loud, and then even like the whole "Everybody Hates Chris" when that came out as well. So yeah, that was amazing. So yeah, Chris Rock. Yeah.
Have you seen him live?
I haven't. I have not seen him live yet.
I haven't either. I would like to. If anyone wants to donate tickets when he's got a show.
To be fair, I've gone to sort of different comedy nights and comedy events, but I've never actually gone to someone dedicated that. So, but I thought, I'm going to start British, so I'm going to Mo Gilligan's one in December.
Oh my God, me and my sister's supposed to go to that. I'm looking forward to that one, definitely. What about your favourite Black actor?
Laurence Fishburne.
Ooh, that's a good shout.
Yeah.
What's your favourite Laurence Fishburne film?
Boys in the Hood, and
Okay.
if not Boys in the Hood, maybe in the Matrix. Just because everyone I used to have my hair low, everyone told me, "Oh, you look a bit like Laurence Fishburne." You know, I didn't, but yeah.
Just tell them to call you Morpheus. It's fine. To be fair, going back to my favorite black villain, it has to be Laurence Fishburne in What's Love Got to Do with It when he plays Ike Turner, because that anxiety. It took me a very long time to forgive him. I know he was acting, but I just forgave him last year. Favorite black actress?
I mean, this is just because she used to be my crush, I guess. But I would say Gabrielle Union.
Yeah, I mean, she's pretty hot. She's stunning
I mean,
now.
she's never done sort of a film where I think that she's done any serious acting. It's also mostly just sort of comedies and action movies. So it'd be good to see her in something that's sort of Oscar nominated.
Like doing a dramatic role.
Yeah, I like to see her in one of those roles just to change it up a bit.
Yeah.
But for what she does, I guess, yeah, I've always enjoyed her movies.
What about your favorite all-time black-led movie?
It's between two. I'm gonna push for The Wood.
Okay.
I'm gonna push for The Wood, and if not The Wood, Life.
Oh, love. We screened Life, which is one of my favorite Martin Lawrence film, and one of my favorite Eddie movies as well. Like that combination and the cast is just, I heart them so much. So yeah.
But they're both films are sort of very heartwarming, feel-good films. With The Wood, it kind of takes you, I remember watching it sort of my late teens, it kind of takes you back to your teenage years when you were just sort of young and innocent and trying to find out what the world is. It's got a bit of banter, there's a bit of drama in it in terms of the gangs and so on. And and it's funny as well. So all the stuff that they go through just resonated, although they're out in America. As a young man growing up in the UK, I kind of felt the same kind of emotion. So that's like where I push for The Wood on that. However, Life, how people sort of stick together, even though they're going through tough, challenging times, and they're going to have laughter, they're going to make joke. I mean, when they're in the prison, just talking about the boom room and just, that
is such a lovely scene.
And it actually makes you think of life in itself. And it's a very touching scene when it's shown over the years, people who are dying and passing away, and sort of kind of fade away. And it just makes you feel by real life that, oh, actually, one day we too are going to be on that journey as well. So yeah, I love that film.
And it's sad they don't realize how much time has gone by until Martin Lawrence's character looks at himself in the face and he's just like, damn, I look old. So if you had to direct people to YouTube to entice them to watch the new Candyman, what scene would you direct them to and why?
Yeah, I definitely think the laundrette scene when you can hear someone's in there, and then the suite comes out and you can see someone walking towards her. Someone seeing that will think, what the hell is going on there? That looks scary. Let me go and find out more. Which you shouldn't. You should run the other way. But human nature will be like, what's going on there? So I'll say that scene, yeah.
Yeah, I would actually say the scene you mentioned earlier with the girls in the toilets when they're like bullying her.
Yeah.
But that is it from me. Bobby, you have been absolutely exceptional, and I'm so happy to finally get you on the podcast. I love everything that you're doing, and you have my absolute support. So if you ever need anything, just give me a holler.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for picking the newest film we've done on this podcast.
No, it's amazing. I was thinking, because I've not watched a lot of films for ages, like I'm gonna get stuck here. I was trying to pick a film and not remember everything on this. I thought, no, let's go for one that's still fresh in the mind, which I enjoy too.
No, absolutely. But thank you so much for your time again, and wish you all.
I appreciate it. Thank you.